All right, so I'm back and I'm here to talk to you about Undertone by Ian Tuason.
It's what she wants.
So before I start, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm actually going to be interviewing Ian and the cast of the film tomorrow. So I went to see an advanced screener of the film. Right up front, I absolutely adore it. So let's just talk about the story a little bit. So we follow Evie. She's a podcaster. She has a show, doing paranormal and investigation with her friend Justin. So while this is going on, she's at her mother's house. Her mother is dying. So that just actually adds to the old creepy setup and the atmosphere of the film. I'll get back to this. So they receive a strange email from an unknown address with 10 audio files. So this is the subject of the episode that they're recording, and they're gonna go through all 10 of those messages over the course of a week, and then weird stuff starts happening. So I'll just leave it at that, but I think this movie is absolutely brilliant. It's one of the scariest thing I've seen in a while, and I'm not even like joking or exaggerating. This was genuinely scary, like get under your skin kind of scary in terms of the atmosphere. It's extremely creepy film and well made. It's smart, it's chilling, it's nerve-wracking, it's everything you want to be from a good, smart, original horror film, and I loved it. So first, let's talk about the sound design in this film, which is absolutely beautiful. It's nightmare fuel. I loved everything they did. Extremely inventive, always finding a smart way to scare people just with the sound. Because as I mentioned, the whole thing takes place in one location, and she's a podcaster. So just from the moment, for example, she would put her headphone, you would hear the sound from the room, like the whole clock ticking and everything, just being isolated with her headphone, and then you're just immersed into that old sound atmosphere. And so yeah, like I said, she receives 10 audio files. Those audio files are extremely creepy, terrifying, but it also unveils something about the story, which is why sound is a major part of the film by itself, and it absolutely sounds scary, insane. I can't put it into words.
I'd like to speak with Mary.
I went to see it at the screener in Montreal. It was in Ultra VX. I also strongly recommend this to watch it in Dolby if you want, which is kind of weird saying that about a movie that takes place in one location, but 100% worth it in terms of the sound. So from what I've heard, the movie it premiered at Fantasia in Montreal last summer. A24 bought the film and apparently did a lot of remixing of the sound, putting the same amount of budget that the film was made, which is $500,000 if I'm not mistaken, into remixing the audio of the film, and it shows. And I mean, of course, sound is a crucial part of it, but it's also how you integrate it into the story. They do a couple of magic tricks over there. So just playing the sound backward to hear subliminal message, something like that, voice distortion. And when she's having her headphones, sometimes she thinks she hears a sound in the house, so she removes them. So all those little things makes this so interesting to see evolve during the film, because it kind of like, I hate to say it's a slow burn on the film that kept me on the edge of the seat the whole time, but it builds up very slowly. But there's a lot of things that they just dropped during the film that's gonna come back later, and this is something I adore about the film. So it's just sound wise, absolutely perfection. We came out of the screening and we were like, listen, if this doesn't get nominated at the Oscars, like what the fuck's the point of doing Oscars for sound? Because this was a masterclass in sound editing. And visually it's relatively simple in some ways, but there lies the genius behind Ian Tuason behind the camera, because he did some great tricks. First of all, like I said, she's in front of her computer most of the time, researching, what's the content of the audio files that she's having, but also dealing with some issues on her own. So most of the time she's either like staring at a computer, staring at her mother on her deathbed, and just talking on the phone with her friend Justin. And they managed to do something very interesting visually in terms of how the shots are being framed. So most of the time, you would have like Evie standing at some place, and in the background you would see the house, shadows and everything, and kind of always expecting something to jump and something to pop up. But that's what makes it even scarier, is that they're patient. They don't treat the audience like a bunch of idiots. They're very patient in the way that they shot the film. But it also, of course, kind of like it's a build up, it's foreshadowing for what's going to come next. So you're always kind of like looking in the background, expecting something big to happen, but it's very quiet in the first half or so of the movie, while trying to put like, try to put some seeds and see where this is going to grow. So this is something I adore about the fact that the film is shot kind of like in a simple way, but in a smart way. So extremely interesting visually, but he also does something with camera movement that absolutely pays off and is really brilliant, kind of once again pushing the narrative forward. So even when she's researching stuff on her computer, they manage to make it interesting, which is a challenging task by itself. There's a strong ominous feeling the whole time. You feel like you're never safe. There's no cheap tricks because they're being patient behind the camera and they know how to surprise the audience. So what I can say about the visual is that the devil is in the details. It's also working very much because of the nature of the audio files that Evie and Justin are uncovering. I mean, it really sends a chill down your spine. I don't want to say too much about that, but the fact that they're not showing it actually worked because you can play the images in your head. So they're listening to it. Some things happen, some bad things happen. It's a horror film. And they don't show it. Not a single drop of blood is being shown on screen, but you can see the images. And if anything, that makes it even scarier because it leaves place to your imagination and you never know what's going to come next. This is something I adore about it. I made a joke, like it's kind of like the anti-Conjuring. I love the first two Conjuring film, but the last one was like all bark, no bite, like super loud jump scares, over the top sequences with the monsters, the demons, like way too much. Trying to do too much is not even scarier. I was like rolling my eyes when I was watching the last Conjuring film. This is the exact opposite of that. It's very quiet, it's very smart, it's patient, but when it scares you, it gets right under your skin, and I loved it about that. Honestly, like when I was not on the edge of my seat, I was all curled up, like waiting for something to happen. I was like, I can't look, I can't look. So this is something like it gets a reaction of the audience. I don't know if it's gonna be for everyone. Like I can totally see this generation of teenagers. Look at me, I look like a whole man, like, "Rrr," but being like bored by the film because not too much is happening. It's like, I don't understand why people say it's so good. I didn't get it. It was too slow. I can totally see that happening with that film. But if you're able to appreciate, first of all, the craft that goes behind the film, the performances, and just the genius idea behind it, I feel like you're going to be immersed in the atmosphere of this film, which is extremely creepy, nerve-wracking. Honestly, I was exhausted after watching the film, and I say that in the most like, yeah, this is a compliment I'm making. So yeah, I was talking about the main character of Evie, and another reason why it worked out for me is because they really took the time to flesh out her character. Obviously, she's at her mother's bed, her mother's dying, so that's always something that's gonna grab you emotionally. She has some problem on her own, seems to have a problem with her relationship with her boyfriend, so she just spent a couple of days over there trying to like get her mind off of things. So a lot of aspects of her character were fleshed out very well. It's interesting to see the dynamic with her and Justin, the co-host, which we never see on screen. He's somewhere else, so they're just talking like two podcast friends that live in two different cities. But it was interesting to see how they build up our dynamic with him. This is the thing why her performance is so unique, is that she's either acting opposite a screen, or her mother that's just lying in the bed, like sleeping or like almost half dead, and she has nothing to play against, like to act against. So she's carrying the movie on her shoulders on that level, completely with her emotional expression, just how everything she's going through. She's also skeptical, and Justin is more of a believer, and that's an interesting part of it because some weird shit start happening in her house, and she kind of like, you can tell she's being scared, but she's like, no, I don't believe in that. That doesn't make any sense. But clearly, weird shit is happening. She reacts to it in different ways. Without saying too much, I mean, the time she spends with her mother can be difficult for her. She learns some new information about herself, which affects the plot and the mystery that they're investigating. She's also a bit of a skeptical, like I said. She's in a relationship that's falling apart. Justin's trying to help her, but she won't accept his help. They really took the time to give her characters gravitas, and that's why it works so much, because it's important. Like, the movie would have fell apart if it was for her performance and how the character's written, but because you're stuck with her the whole time. So I loved her character, and yeah, this is something I really appreciate about the film. Nina's performance in it, Chef kiss. So honestly, for something that's being described as a slow burn, I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. Like I said, the whole time I was loving it, and I kind of become scared of like, oh shit, are they gonna be able to stick the landing? And oh boy, they do. The last 20 minutes of this film are excellent, kind of like bringing it full circle on a lot of aspects of what is being teased toward the film. Absolutely adore the ending of the film. So when the movie ended, first of all, I was exhausted, but I was like, thank God they nailed the ending. Absolutely adore this film from start to finish. Like I said, I was at a screening in Montreal with fellow critics, and the movie ended. And someone in the back just said like, "Well, that was something," and we just like stood up and started talking to each other, and we were like geeking out, like, "What the fuck did we just watch? This was amazing!" Like everyone was scared at the film. It's not like I've seen a lot of horror films in my life, so at some point you kind of become numb to it. It's just okay, the killer's gonna kill her. Okay, this is gonna happen. This was not one of those films where you just kind of become numb to it. It's like, yeah, it's just a movie. It really gets under your skin, and I felt like I was not the only one having that feeling. People in the screening, we were also like all like really affected by the film. Psychologically, but also emotionally. I think I was like, I had to take a moment after watching the film. And I'm not trying to hype this up, by the way. I'm just telling you how I felt watching it. This might not be the case for you, but I do feel like the team did a fantastic job with this film. It's scary, it's creepy, it gets under your skin. Just like terrifying film. I adore that, so I'm gonna give Undertone a 9 out of 10. Go see it. If you can see it in Dolby, in Ultra, IVX, AVX, all of it, you need to watch this and hear it the better way you can hear it, because it bangs. I loved it. So yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe. I have more reviews coming up. Yeah, Undertone, it rocks.